Monroe.
Yo, Corey.
How's it going,
I was
man?
jamming out, man. I was feeling it. That's my inner African. My
Yes, got
African
that
root.
djembe. Got
Yeah.
that djembe going on. So, 177, I think, is what we're doing. I think maybe 178 is what we're on. Um, you know what? Nothing matters anyway. Nothing matters anymore. Everything is canceled. It doesn't matter.
It's all jumbled together now,
It's
man.
177 or 178 is what this number of the episode is going to be. I'm
Yeah.
I'm super psyched to have you, dude. Like, honestly, this is 178. 178. Does that number mean anything to you in your life? Do you have any, like, does 78 mean anything? Does no?
Favorite number is 23.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Jordan. Yeah. Why?
when I get to either 223 or 230, I'll call you back up again and we'll do another one.
Yeah, I'm with it. 23 was like when I started to like do my own thing in life. Like I was living on my own, but I was figuring out like my adult life. I started dating more and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So 23 was like when I blossomed. I
Yeah.
feel like. And then Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Jordan who?
And
I
then
never heard of him.
Michael Jordan. And then my birthday is the 23rd. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, 23 is my lucky number.
That's a good lucky number. And it's LeBron as well. I mean, I don't know if you're a LeBron fan, but
I mean, LeBron is great, but I'm too old for
right. Me too.
to be like, LeBron is my hero. It's like, nah, we went to high school at the same time. Well, a little bit. He graduated before me.
Okay. So, what's like super important to me as I think it was really important to me to have on the record conversations with people who I have a special place in my heart for, and that exists for you certainly, because you and I came into each other's lives right when I was getting the stand-up comedy bug going. You know what I mean? Wanting to get into that, and like all the people from that area, not everybody, but I mean a bunch of the people and the dudes that stood out to me the most are people that I've had on the show so far. Like I've had here, and I've had to have like when I had Chris Cotton on, it was very much like, hey man, I want to let you know that I really think you're a superstar and you're going places. Yeah. And honestly, I think that about you as well. I think, thank you. And the first time Cotton was on, we talked about you.
Was it good stuff?
It was like 2017. Him and I were talking about you on here.
Oh, shit.
He was putting you over, dude. He was talking about how you're his best friend and stuff.
No, I love Chris, man. I still love him. His stupid face is staring at me right now. And I got his book. Can I promo his stupid book?
Yeah, promo his stupid book. What my dad did? Is that what it's called? What is it called?
What my dad did. My thoughts and theories on joke writing. You don't already have it, people. Go get it. Yeah, I have it in my closet because that's like where everything goes. So it's not like I just threw it in the closet, but I try to be organized. And it was just in my closet, and I have my closet open, and it's just always stupid Chris just staring at me, and I feel like he's judging me whenever I'm being lazy.
Yeah, I saw his set, like the most recent set before he passed. I'd seen him working it out at Punchline, and man, it was so good. He like talked about Foreman Mills. He started talking about his dad, and like it was all real good stuff. I hope that it's on the record somewhere.
I hope so too, man. Chris is a very funny person. I want more people to go check out his stuff.
Yeah,
and let him not be forgotten in the comedy history.
Right,
I won't let him be forgotten.
Well, that's part of this whole thing, man. Like I can now go back on the record and listen to 2017 conversation I had with him and like a 2018 conversation I had with him, where it's like I'm telling him how special I find him, and like it's funny hearing it back from him, like, oh, you're funny too, and I'm like, oh, it's it's fun. Everybody needs that validation to have another funny person tell them they're funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But are you like one of those weird people too, where I like? It's not that I don't like people saying I'm funny. It's just that I'm like, I always. Sorry, I was trying to clear my glasses. I'm always in my head about stuff. So when people go, "Oh man, that was good," I'm like, "You don't know shit." Like I'm that guy. I'm always like, "You don't know anything. You don't know what you're talking about." So I never believe anybody, and I
Yeah.
just go, "Okay, thanks." And I'm like, "You don't know, but that was awful." 'Cause we're always trying to like perfect something, even though perfection doesn't exist. But you're always trying to get it right.
You know, I do that more for wrestling. I do that more
Yeah.
for when I'm like, I didn't get in as much stuff I wanted to get in.
Yeah.
I didn't take that the right way. I didn't sell that the right way. I didn't move the right way on that whip off or something. You know what I mean? It's something like my footwork wasn't the best. And then I'll get in the back and there'll be somebody there who isn't quite as much of a trained eye as me.
Yeah.
Like Eli, Eli Sayers.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, "Oh man, you did great tonight. This is so good." I'm like, "Yeah, but like, shut up." Like,
Yeah.
in
But
my
you
head.
need those people, man. Like I'm realizing my wife is that person to me. So you need somebody or you need people around to kind of be like, "No, that was good." And then they're like, "Nah, it wasn't." But they're like, "Look, we're not looking at what the fuck you're looking at. We're not looking
Right.
for what you're looking for. We see a
Mhm.
completely, totally different thing." And sometimes
Right.
you have to step outside of yourself
Right.
to be like, "Oh, okay, maybe I did do something right in that." And I'm not going to beat myself up and I'll work on another aspect of it. Like my wife does that whenever, like I just had a set come out
Mhm.
and I got them to edit it like maybe like 4 or 5 times and she'll watch it and she'll be like, "Babe, it's funny. It's funny. That joke is funny. This reaction is funny." Like she was like, "It's good. Like
Yeah.
stop overthinking it." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, all right."
Um. So when I think I freaked out when I saw you for the first time on Less Comic Standing because there had been some years there.
Mhm.
There's been some years there where you and I hadn't spoke to each other, and we kind of
Yeah.
lost contact when it came to like social media and stuff. We weren't friends on social media, so we
Yeah.
kind of just like faded away from each other
Yeah.
for a sec. And then when I
Yeah.
saw you on Last Comic Standing, I was like, "That's my friend. That's my friend." And
Yep.
but that was the part of like when I accepted like, oh, I'm gonna know people who are gonna do some things. Like I didn't get that until you came around.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I had friends who made it in wrestling, sure, whatever, but like friends in comedy who are gonna make things.
Yeah.
I actually
Well, yeah.
I was actually having a conversation today with my friend Brittany because she hit me up when I woke up in the morning about something.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, I was just having a dream about you." Like the weirdest thing was I was like, "Oh, you were asking me to help you move something down the stairs for your friend." And I was too busy watching SNL. My friend Monroe Martin was on SNL in my dream. I was just
Oh,
I was just telling her that just happened tonight. And I was like, "Oh, and
that's
that's the dude
crazy.
I was like, "That's the dude I'm going to do my podcast with today." She's like, "Oh, what do you think this means?" And I was like, "I don't know. It means something."
I mean, if I make it on SNL, that's a miracle. I don't want to say I can't act, but like that's a whole different beast. Like they're learning changes on the spot and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
It's
They're like
it's
reading off of cue cards and landing. I'm like, if I make it on that show, then you had a hell of a premonition, my friend.
well, it's never too late.
Look, I'm not going to not shoot my shot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not shoot a shot if they come knocking. If I do something that grab their attention and they're like, "Hey, would you mind auditioning?" I'm gonna say, "Yeah, I'm not above it."
Right.
Yeah, you know. How much are you gonna drink that whole gallon today?
Yeah. Yeah. Probably twice.
What? So,
Yeah, dude.
like, damn.
That's,
So are
that's
you like you're like one of those people who have control over their body? Like you're like, I know what the fuck I'm eating. I'm eating good. I'm drinking. Like you're one of those people.
you're giving me too much credit. I don't count everything. I don't. I just don't eat like bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, during the apocalypse, nothing matters. I mean, I'm eating ice cream every night. So, who knows? But I'm still, but I'm making sure I'm also still like working out. Like you said, you were gonna do at-home workout today, and I was like, well,
I'm gonna try it, man. We've been quarantined 4 or 5 weeks. The first week, I was vegan for 2 weeks, and I was doing good. I'm saying I was doing good. Like I was vegan 2 weeks before the quarantine. I was on top of my shit. I tell myself just keep going. I was hitting the gym. Like I seen myself losing weight and all that stuff. And then like the third week into this quarantine, I'm like, fuck it. My wife started making like meatballs and spaghetti, and then my wife is Colombian too, so she's making like arepas and tostones and shit. And I'm like, yep, I'll eat it. And then I just got that tire back around my waist. So I downloaded Insanity because I'm like, I want to try something different. So I'm like, I downloaded Insanity, the 30-day. I mean, not the 30, the 2-month one, but it's like 30-minute max workout. So I'm like, why not? Let's try it.
Dude, I know some people that got pretty ripped on Insanity. So, I mean, I haven't heard anything about Insanity since probably, I don't know, 2010, 11. Like it's been a while since I've heard
it though.
That's
like, yeah, like I follow civilians as well, like outside of like the like comedy and like all that stuff, and like regular people still do like P90X and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like he perfected the workout, so he doesn't have to keep releasing tapes. He's a millionaire off of the same tape, the same workout.
Well, same as like the DDP stuff. Have you ever done his stuff?
I wanted to. I think I will try that after this.
Yeah. It's it's pretty good. I know it works for some of my really good friends, like kind of turn their lives around on DDP yoga.
Yeah.
P90X is like it's like, and same with Insanity. It's like there's like so much like. Yeah. DDP yoga is going to be like a cooler version, not like cooler, like hip and cool and with it. I mean, it's like cooled down version of those instead of like high intensity. It's going to be like enough of lower intensity and then increasing.
Yeah.
But through the quarantine, I've been going. My neighbor across the street has a weight room in his basement that I've been going over there a couple days a week.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Lucky you. That's dope.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was doing that before this all started, so it's almost like nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I was doing that before this started, and I was going to Planet Fitness, but I don't go there no more because it's closed.
They close. I go to Blink. And but the best thing is that they said they're not going to charge people until the gyms open back up, so you don't have to pay.
Well, isn't that concerning about like what's going to last through the shutdowns? Like I certain gyms are going to close.
I think mom and pop gyms, they'll struggle a little bit, and you'll see. They'll probably try to raise the membership fees on people temporarily or whatever, or take donations. But gyms like Planet Fitness and Blink, they won't, because they're owned by bigger gyms. I know Blink is owned by Equinox, and Equinox is like rich as fuck, so they'll be fine. Planet Fitness will be fine because those are the first places that will come back. Like I know they'll probably start integrating slowly but surely. Like they'll probably start admitting like maybe like 100 people at a time, but then once the whole thing is lifted, they'll be like, and those be the first places that come back.
Yeah, they were like, it's funny if they choose the people who were their first members. If they like go back into their archives and they'd be like, okay, it's reopen to you, but like just you.
You know, like, those people aren't going. The first members are never the people who go consistently.
Bro, I started at Planet Fitness in 2007. They better let me back in that shit.
Oh, okay. Because most people who started, like when Planet Fitness came around, I knew a lot of people who went and then they gave up quick. They were like, nah, chicken wings is better.
That's a weak will.
Yeah.
Well, I think us as entertainers have more of a motivation to have that camera ready look, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
No, you're right.
yeah, I mean, you wanna stand out a little bit from every other average person. And I mean, dude, you stand out from a mile away considering you're so fucking tall.
Yeah, I'm 6'5" and I got hips, so that's probably why I stand out.
You got hips.
I got hips.
Hips. Yeah. Oh man. It was so cool to see you the last time, and I wanted to make like this thing is a long time long time coming. Like I wanted to have sit down with you and just sort of like hang and talk and do whatever. Like most people don't even get the opportunity to sit down with their old friends and just bullshit. And I don't think we've ever even had a conversation that's been, what is this, 16 minutes? I don't even know if we've ever had a conversation that's been this long.
Probably not.
To this point. So I wanted to, I mean, I do have a little bit of impressions of ideas of what your jokes were back in like 2008.
Yeah. 2008, my jokes were terrible because I started in 07. So 2008.
Yeah, I started in 08 and they were also bad. I was actually fooling around, like trying to record an intro to this episode, which I don't ever do. I just released it the way it is. Yeah. But I was like, well, let me try that. And I was like, oh, back in 2008, Monroe and I used to do some comedy together. Well, he was doing comedy. I don't even know what I was doing.
I wasn't serious in 2008. Serious comedy got serious for me. When I really was like, yo, I think I can do something was 2009, 2010. 2009, I got fired from my job. And one of the teachers that I was working under, like, she was like, I heard you're funny, but like, when are you going to do it for real? And I'm like, I am doing it for real, but I wasn't. I was just being defensive. And she was like, well, you're not, because like you're not going all in. You're here in Philly, being a teaching assistant. She was like, where do people do comedy? And where do people go to like really be good? And I was like, New York and LA. She was like, well, pick one and go. And I'm like, all right. I called, like, I let that sit in me for a while, for about like a month or two. And then I was talking to Derek Gaines, and Derek was like, yo, it's like that up here. This is the promised land. Like, whatever you need to happen in your career is possible up here. And I was like, in 2010, I moved to New York. I moved to Jersey City.
Yeah.
I lived with Derek for a little bit, but I never came back. I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm like, but everybody was absolutely right. I moved up here. I got serious about it. I was having fun. I was having a fun. I'm having fun again now. You just gotta like take that seriousness out of it. But in the beginning, I was just having so much fucking fun. I was running around, bombing, figuring this shit out.
Right. How many mics were you doing in a week?
A week? I don't even know. I was doing like 5 a day when I moved to New York. I was doing 5 to 6 a day. And I would start at like 1 o'clock. I would hit mics in Brooklyn. I would hit mics in like the Bronx, whatever I can go. Because I was doing both hood rooms and the mainstream rooms. So it allowed me to get on stage every single day. So I would shoot over to Brooklyn. But you do Brooklyn last because those shows never start on time. So I would like shoot over to some open mics in the city. Then from there, I would shoot probably like to like Harlem at the end of the night, just to end off. And then if I was lucky, I would shoot down to the Village and do the Lantern or whatever, because they would always have like a midnight show that ran late, and I would do that. And I just did that every night until I figured out. Until like clubs started being like, hey, you want to do guest spots? You want to do check spots? You want to host? And I was like, yep. I
love hosting. Hosting's a blast because it's
hate
like
hosting, but I know it's necessary. I hate hosting because I'm
yeah.
selfish. I want to go on there and do material. But when you're hosting, the show isn't about you. It's about the comic. So you can't you can't really take no chances when you're hosting, because if you don't come out the gate hot and make everybody comfortable, then if the show is bad, then it's kind of your fault. But I'm black, and most clubs use black people to host or close.
Mm.
So yeah, you gotta learn how to host. As me, I have to learn how to. I hate it, but I'm like, I'm black. As soon as I get in the club, they're gonna be like, "Can you host?" All right. It is what it.
It's like we've discovered a new stereotype. Oh, you know the way black people love to host so much.
No, it's just I don't even know if we're the best hosts. It's just that most of the time they have they're high energy. You know what I mean? So they're like, well, let's put the black guy on as a host because he'll be able to keep that energy up.
Right.
And then everybody else, or let's have them to close so they can keep that energy up. You can see it with clubs. If you
Send 'em
really
home
go to
happy.
if you go to you go to a showcase club,
Mhm.
that's a showcase club that's like up every single night. Most of the hosts are black, and most of the people closing are black. Most of the hosts are Godfrey and Artie, and then most of the closers are Godfrey.
I saw him in that documentary I Am Comic. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
is I Am Comic the one with Jamie Kennedy, or is that
No,
the
that's Heckler. No,
I Am Comic is the one with Jerry Seinfeld, or
no. I Am Comic is the one. Everybody's in it. Like Tim
okay,
Allen, Jeff Foxworthy, Sarah Silverman.
that's dope.
Uh, it's all of it. And Carlos. It's the documentary where Carlos Mencia was like, "Fuck yeah, I steal jokes," and
Well,
that was probably a bad career move because I don't think he did anything else after that.
yeah, I mean he still sells out. It's fucking crazy.
Right.
He's still like, if you go to Carlos Mencia's website, well, right now he probably don't have no dates because of whole COVID shit, but
Right.
he has dates. There's people who just don't give a fuck. Like
Right.
there's people who just want to be entertained, and they're
Right.
like, I don't
Funny's
care.
funny, and they don't care where the
Yeah,
source came from. Yeah.
yeah.
But I just had the director of that movie on the podcast,
Oh, dope.
Jordan Brady. Yeah. So cool. So cool to have be able to like reach out to people and be able to get on the record conversations about
Yeah,
anything and everything, like things that you hold so dear. And
yeah,
I mean, I see that through like your material. I see that like
yeah,
your material is like very, very intimate. It's very like vulnerable. And that's
yeah,
what I want to do with this. It's like I want to completely stay honest and vulnerable because this stuff is going to outlive me.
yeah,
And hopefully it can inspire somebody to also be open and vulnerable.
yeah.
But I wanted to bring up, like you said, in your act about like being an orphan and all that stuff. I wanted to kind of get into that, like
Foster kid.
foster care.
Foster kid and orphan is different. Orphan is like
Okay.
when you both of your parents are dead.
Okay, my bad.
My parents were still in the same city. They just didn't fuck with me. They were very much alive. They were just like, look, when I get my shit together, I'll come get you. But until then, I'm partying it up.
They took a rum springer from you.
Yeah, they was like, you know what? We weren't ready to be parents. We just like raw sex. So we're just gonna take some time to ourselves.
Were they still together in that?
Absolutely not. No. No.
There's just-
My dad is from DC. He's from like the DC area, all that other stuff. So he like was in Philly. That was the stomping grounds, but he's not a Philly dude. He's a DC guy. So when that all he was in prison and all that stuff. But like when I was in foster care, he was just in DC. My mom was like in and out of rehabs and all that other stuff. So yeah.
Well, that was like a weird like So this started like when you were a baby. You in foster care, like up,
No,
like
I
you
was in
raised
foster
all
care
the.
at the age of 7. So I went in at like 7 years old, and then I aged out at 21.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I was in group homes, foster homes. I did kinship care, kinship care is where you live with like a family member, and they're your legal guardian, your temporary legal guardian. So I did that. I did all of it. I'm well rounded, baby.
Well, like you took on you're a third, right? So
Yeah, my mom wasn't a smart woman at that time. She named she was like, you know
na-
what? I'm
named
like,
her named you after the guy that she had an affair with once.
yeah.
As
They were married, definitely. They were
oh,
married for a little bit, but I
okay.
found out me and my grandmother got a lot closer with over these last like 10 years.
Hmm.
And she tells me everything now. She don't give a fuck. Like she was like, yeah, parent. I was like, so did my mom and dad have a wedding? She was like, absolutely not. They got married at the courthouse. They only got married because they didn't have a place to live, and they wanted to live with me. And I told them that nobody could shack up under my roof if they wasn't married. So, and they got married for a place to stay. And then I'm like, well, that's your fault. I was like, my life is your fault. I'm like, you're the one that fucking started this whole thing. You
Like
put,
I ain't mad at you, but like I'm mad at you.
yeah, I ain't mad at her. She had a theory. She tried to stick to it. Life is all about hypothesis, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You don't figure anything out until you get everything wrong.
exactly. So now she know you keep motherfuckers apart. You're like, nah, y'all shouldn't be together.
Oh man, desperation makes us have makes us maybe not make the right decisions all the time. And
Absolutely.
and it was funny, like you said that you're having conversations with your grandma now, and she just doesn't give a fuck, and she just tell you everything. Really, she'll just
Yeah.
tell you the way it is.
She don't tell me everything. I could, when a person is holding back. She'll
Oh yeah.
she'll hold back, and I'm like, okay, all right. I know that ain't all the way the truth. She's telling me the Christian truth because
Oh yeah.
she's super Christian. So she she's not telling me everything. She's just telling me all that my brain can handle at that point.
Well, what did you come like through foster care and through the stuff with your grandma and all that stuff? How did you approach the idea of spirituality and faith and all that stuff? Especially like you said she was super Christian.
I mean, I'm still not all the way there yet. I don't know what I believe in. I'm
Right.
just I did like I can't say all black people, but if you grew up in poverty as a minority, as a black person, you can only be like two things, and that's a or a Muslim. And I did both. I did I did both. I tried both suits on, and they're the same.
It's like
People.
you both got really good points. The Muslim people got really good points. I mean,
Yeah,
I've sat and had really meaningful, long conversations with Muslims, and like, okay, I see where you're coming from, and all
yeah.
those are really good points. Um,
It's
I
all the
get the whole,
same. I'm like,
but it's
to me, yeah.
it's
Go ahead.
it's just leaves on the same tree, man. It's all the same.
Yeah. So I don't disrespect it, but when I was going through stuff in life, like real life, and then people and I would like call on people for like advice and stuff, and then they would just quote the Bible. To me, it felt like a cop out, and
Hmm.
it felt like they didn't have the answer. Instead of going, yo, man, I'm sorry, I don't know. Maybe you this is something you have to go through. They're just like, read this book. I'm like, what the fuck is this book going through? Like, I don't know if you really read the Bible. That shit's scary. It's the scariest book you'll ever read, man. Like, you read the Bible, you go, yeah, God loves everybody, but he fucking hates us too. He
I
can't wait to punish us. It's
what do
scary.
you
It can be.
what about the Black Israelites? Have you ever heard of any of them or met any of those?
Have I met one of them?
I
No,
mean,
I've never heard of them. I don't think Black Israelites are really going around talking to people
uh,
out there who aren't
not.
Jews,
Oh,
who aren't Black Jews.
Oh man, well, this one kid that worked with me at my old job,
Mhm.
talked to me about, oh, God is a jealous and vengeful God, and I was like, is he?
I mean,
Is
if
he?
you read that Bible, yeah,
And I was like, and
God
he's like
sounds like
still
a bitter one.
all the way committed to the fact that like he loves God, but God hates us, and
Yeah,
he's like trying to earn brownie points with God.
yeah,
So I'm like, then you just seem like you're some kind of suck up for
yeah,
like what are you getting out of it? You don't even
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Like,
That's crazy. But that's what I got out of it too. Like when I was like, cause I did I read the Bible. I believed. When I say I believed, man, I used to write scriptures on everything, just like little the Lord's Prayer and all that stuff. And then you start to, the more and more you start to understand it, I I go, well, it's not more so God than you just trying your best to be a decent person and live your life in a peaceful way and not bring any and not ruin other people's peace and just don't be selfish. Like when I started to really do that, I started to lose the Bible thing, and I started just to, I believe in like the universe and all that shit. I still believe in God, like definitely believe in God.
yeah,
Like you know what I mean. But I don't know if I believe in God as like the one, like a vengeful, hateful person. I believe
like
God. Yeah,
I've heard it said as like the lifeguard God, like someone sitting on the lifeguard stand watching over everything and watching over
yeah,
everybody. I don't believe in that either. I believe in the fact that like God is us. We are part of God. I
yeah,
think that if you do like a brain scan, you see those electric energies moving around.
yeah,
Energy, that energy,
yeah, yeah.
that energy is God, the same God that breathes that that put oxygen out of trees, the wind that blows, all
Yeah.
of that is just as much God as we are.
Yep.
And
I believe it. I believe the cycle. I believe all of that stuff. I believe that like we are God. We are like images of God. Even the ones who don't, whoever, even the selfish ones. Like I believed He gave us the right to choose and all that stuff, and then people just don't do that. Like some people, you know what I mean? Like I believe that like God creates, and so do we. We create
Mhm.
life, we create war, we create love, we create our world, and that's what God gave us. He gave us the ability to be our own gods and be the gods of others and stuff like that.
Right.
And I just believe that you just, I don't like keep saying you gotta be nice, but like you just, not so much karma, but
It's
like you put shit out there and you get what you get what you put out.
in the wise words of Kid Rock, you get what you put in, and people get what they deserve.
Yeah, not everybody gets what they deserve. I don't think that's true. Some people
They
don't
should.
ever get what they deserve.
Right.
Yeah, that's, I mean, they should if that the world worked like that, but it doesn't
Yeah.
always work like that. I think that sometimes what you, it's like weird. I don't know. It's like I can only really break this shit down when I don't want to say high, but sometimes when you're inebriated, you're allowed to like step out of your way, which is also like can be a bad thing. But I just feel I got not an argument with my friend, but I'm like I don't believe in karma because I don't believe that I don't believe that the world is always vengeful. So like you may do something fucked up, doesn't mean that it's going to come back to you 100% because there's too many examples of that's not happening. And when people go, everything happens for a reason, I always go, well, explain kids dying, explain people who just explain generational curses. Like, how does that
Right.
benefit?
And
Like, yeah,
systemic things that
yeah.
yeah, I totally
So
get it.
I go, yeah. So I just like, I don't know what to believe. I just go, I'm spiritual, and I try not to disrespect other people's shit.
Yeah. I was thinking of the idea of when we do another one of these, which is going to be episode 223. I'm reserving it for you.
All right.
Episode 223 is going to be Monroe Martin 2.
I probably have a kid and all that shit by then, so everything will probably change.
Uh, but we'll both smoke a little first.
Yeah.
and we'll
I
get
gave it up. I gave it up.
Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe make an exception if we're planning this far ahead.
Yeah, I may backslide. Who knows?
Well, I mean, hang out at Gas Digital enough, and
I do. That's the thing. I'm like, man, like everybody smokes so much, then I'm just like, all right, man, I can't be doing it because I started at 28. I started smoking at 28, and I did it so much where I'm like, I don't see there's no other benefits in it. I'm like one of those people who get bored really quick. So if I like when you experience the high, like I've got high like fucked up where I'm like, oh man, I'm damn near incapacitated. And I'm like, all right, so am I chasing that feeling again? Because if that's it, then I've already experienced that and I don't need to go back. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like that weird thing where I'm like, if I experienced it, I don't really need to keep doing it.
Well, I think the way I would look at it, which I don't do it anymore, really that much anymore. Maybe once every couple months, something like that. I mean, but it was an everyday thing for me for a while. But it's more about like, I'm having conversations that I wasn't normally going to have, and I was going to teach myself things that I wasn't normally going to teach myself. Writing jokes was a big part of it too, because like I can be funny when I think things are funny. I think things are most funny when I'm a little high. Yeah. So writing jokes was a big part of it too. Like I used it for that. Yeah. I wrote a joke. My first joke I ever wrote high because like I said, it wasn't like you said, you started at 28. Like I didn't really start till I was like 30 or something. And I'm 36 now. So, I mean, it's really, I mean, I was in my 30s really. Yeah. But I did a thing where, I wrote it down and this is the first, I read it back the day after and I was like, this is stupid. This isn't going to work. But I talk about how I always say, like, yeah, I get it. But my roommate at the time thought that every time I said, that I was saying, like for him to repeat himself.
Yeah. Oh, that's
and I'm
funny.
I'm like, yo, what if we were surgeons and you were like scalpel and I was like, and you're like, I said scalpel.
Like they just got to keep repeating. They got to explain to you what a scalpel is, like the little sharp thing, the little knife thing.
And then be like, we're losing them. Defibrillators, clear, clear,
That sounds like a high joke.
Yeah. I never did it. Of course, I probably never will. But I just threw it away now.
Yeah.
You know? But
go ahead.
I did listen to some No Need for Apologies, man. That's a fun show. That's a fun show. You guys,
we did a lot of episodes high.
Yeah,
those were fun. Yeah, we did a couple. I think back in the day we did a lot more. We would just like talk about nothing. So yeah, I want to know. I want to see if people can tell the difference between when we was like baked out of our mind, when we were in the spaceship, we would call it, and when we were just like regular. Yeah. Yeah, we had some episodes like we had spaceship episodes where we're like head in the clouds, and then we just have some episodes where we're just like sober. And I want to know if people can really tell the difference.
You know, that's a really, really funny point too, because I think I was hanging out with other high people at the time when I was doing some episodes pretty high, and people would be like, "Well, you pulled it off really well." I'm like, "Yeah, but what do you know? You're high too."
Yeah, true. Everybody thinks they're an expert. Everybody who gets high goes, "Nah, man, I'm an expert at getting high." It's like, yeah, that's what getting high does. It makes you feel like you're an expert.
Yeah, a little egomaniac.
Yeah, you like, nah, I know what I'm doing. It's like, yeah, okay.
So, mostly during the quarantine, how's that affecting the podcast? When you guys are still doing it at the same times every week?
We still do it. It's actually helped out a lot more because when we got to go in the studio, you got to go in the studio, so you got to set time. you also get people who may flake or like things may come up. So doing it via Zoom actually made it easier for us just to stay on time and
Yeah.
release it on time and all that stuff. So I think it'll definitely be something that we can keep up now, because when this whole thing is lifted and we get back in the studio, like if I'm on the road, if usually what happens if Derek was on the road, then we would like record maybe like a couple episodes beforehand, or if I was on the road, I'll record. We'll like stack a bunch of episodes. But now that we know we can just do it via Skype or Zoom, makes
Yeah.
it a lot easier, and and it also allows us to like reach out to people who you never really thought you could get. Now you can just be like, "Yo, all you got to do is just talk into your computer with us," and
Right.
like people are down. So
Yeah.
it
So
made
I
it a
mean,
lot easier.
I'm getting more like like off, sort of people who I would have expected to be open to doing it. But I mean, I was getting some, not as many, but
Yeah,
with you, you've been a dream guest of mine. I wanted to sit
thank
down and
you.
have this
I
for a
appreciate
while. Like you were coming through here like last year before, and like going to the place in Bristol, and I was like, "Come over, just come over and we'll
Oh yeah,
hang."
I had too many people with me though. I had love. I had Menuhin with me. Then I had our photographer with me, and
Okay.
then I didn't stay, so I would like drive back because they were like, "Yo, I can't stay," and I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. So I would like drive back to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it like twice. Yeah, you live in Jersey though, right?
No, no, I live in Langhorne, which is like right down the street from Bristol. Like,
Oh, what's stopping you from moving up to New York?
um, money,
Oh, what about Jersey City or somewhere closer?
money mostly. I
Rob
mean,
somebody. I feel you. No, I get it.
yeah, it's mostly. I mean, it's probably a little bit of insecurities as well. You know what I mean? It's going to the casino with scared money. That's how I feel with the idea, the thought process of moving. And if I'm being fully honest with myself, I'm in my little comfort zone here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. But you're a wrestler, and what you scared of?
Well, I mean,
You
I
get
don't know.
slam. You slam people and jump off of shit. I've been there. Yeah, I've seen the match. I went to Capital Wrestling, so I
Yeah,
look at wrestlers like, yo, I could never do that. I love wrestling. I love what wrestlers do because that's like, to me, I'm like, doing that is a mixture of public speaking and fucking fighting. You got to do both. All I got to do is just talk. But y'all gotta fucking put your personality out there, or not even your personality, but a personality you think is going to work, and throw it out there. And hope people grab on, and you're telling this story. You're trying to bring them along for the ride, also while getting suplex and doing fucking moonsaults off the top rope. So I don't know what the hell you're scared of.
uh, but here's the thing, man. I, I'm more along the lines of like, dude, my future is speaking. My future
Yeah.
is comedy. My future is acting. My future isn't as much wrestling as it was before.
Okay.
I've been saying, and I said it on every episode for the last 8 weeks, probably since this thing started. I don't know how long we're in quarantine. Nothing matters anyway.
Yeah.
But I've been saying, like, I had one foot in and one foot out for the
Yeah.
last like 2 years,
Okay.
and this whole thing might be either the thing that gets me all the way out, or the thing that just, I mean, I might see that people miss it more and are popping for people are popping for less things, which would motivate me to like be excited to come back for that. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I'll probably ride off into the sunset, as Stone Cold
Yeah.
Steve Austin would say.
I feel you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I I I for sure want to do comedy more. Comedy has become a huge part, like, of my passion. I love joke writing. I carry my notebook with me everywhere. I mean, I haven't gone anywhere, but I carry my
Yeah, I'm
notebook.
like, you leaving the house?
Nah, I'm not going anywhere. But before all this, I'm carrying
Yeah.
a book with me everywhere I go, and like finding ways to turn things into something I can write a bit about.
Yeah, I feel you.
So I'm, you know, I get the part about I related a lot with what you said with the teacher. The teacher said the thing to you like, why are you here and
Yeah,
not where it's happening?
yeah,
And you're like, Mom, I'm doing it though. Like I feel like I had a conversation very recently, that same thing. Somebody was talking to me about, and this is a conversation people have been saying to me for a long time. And I think even, every comic when they start, they go, oh, someone goes, oh, you're a comedian, make me laugh, tell me a joke, or
Yeah.
something. Like with being a wrestler, people go like, oh, boom, don't body slam me or don't hit me with a chair.
yeah,
So if I'm doing both of those things, it's like people are saying both of those things to me at any point.
yeah.
But a lot of the things you get often or are, when are you gonna go pro? And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
But
you
that's
know what?
because people don't know shit.
Right. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's up to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's all I got to do is call Vince McMahon and say, hey, give me a job. Like, that's not the way it works. There's
Yeah.
a whole process to it. And it's like, somebody called me an amateur wrestler the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
nah, that's not true because it's professional wrestling. That's the name of the sport. Amateur wrestling is a whole other sport.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it. I'm not making millions of dollars doing it. I'm not a pro at it, but it's called professional wrestling. So it's
Yeah.
like a whole lot of like weird semantic things. When like when someone says, "Why aren't you doing it?" and you're like, "I am doing it. I'm going and making these appearances," and
Yeah.
that's that I resonate with that too, because it's like I am doing it, but I'm not doing it as much as I could be doing it, should be doing it.
I mean, you still get that no matter what, but you just I get that. I get that, man. When you make it big, or when you're like, you just get, not like when you make it big, but when people go, oh man, I can't wait for you to make it big, or I hope you make it one day. I don't take that personal, because I'm like, oh, you don't have an idea. Like, most people don't have careers. Most people have jobs that they get tricked into thinking is a career, and then they take some pride in it, and then, but like, I just go, oh, there's like his fusion, right? Because if somebody goes, man, I can't wait for you to make it big or whatever, or I can't wait for you to like hit it off or whatever the fuck is going on in their brains.
Right.
I just go, oh, okay, you don't like, you have that job mentality. You think that what I'm doing, you think that I probably still have a regular job, or like that I'm still like, do I do temp jobs? You don't understand that there's a gap in between doing open mics and being Chris Rock. You don't understand that I like, people make a living, and they can make a good living without ever being famous. Great living without ever being famous. And they think fame is making it, when anybody can be, and making it is different. Like, making it, like, I heard Chappelle say this, and I'm like, that makes sense. He was like, the moment I'm able to make a teacher salary off of comedy, I made it. And I'm like, oh, well, that's a good way to look at it, because I make more money doing comedy than I've ever made at any other job. And not saying that I'm fucking well off or whatever, because I'm not, but I'm in a position where I'm like, I've had a lot of jobs, and ain't no job ever paid me as much as this. Wow. And I'm like, yeah. But that's just but that, for me, it's not, it's like a thing where I'm like, oh, okay, I had that conversation on a podcast with Keith, because he was like, y'all made it. And I argued with him, like, I didn't make it. And he really broke it down. He was like, this is your full-time thing, regardless of what you do in between. You act, you're doing everything off of entertainment. You support a family off of this. You support yourself. Why isn't that success? Why don't you look at that as success? And then I'm like, that makes sense, because you get stuck looking at what everybody else thinks is as success.
Right. Because it's like it's a matter of what you can relate to, and it's a
Yeah.
matter of what you're not grateful all the way for everything you have as much as you should be, perhaps. So
Absolutely.
it's really like, wow, I'm doing it. I'm really.
Yeah. And you got to keep reminding yourself of that shit, because that's the downfall of social media. Social media makes you look at everybody else sometimes, and you see that there's verification checks. There's people with millions of followers, and then people see that and go, "Psh, man, one day you gonna have this many. You gonna have this many followers." It's like, ain't shit gonna change.
That's not gonna define making it.
Yeah. And you let that shit get to you. I remember I got verified on all my accounts, right? And I was like, man, this is it. For a month, for like at least a week, I was like, yeah, this is it. I'm verified on Instagram, Twitter, all this shit. Ain't shit changed. Right. And I'm like, just the perception to people changed, but my work didn't change. My life didn't change. And I'm like, oh, this shit is fake. All this shit is phony.
Joe DeRosa had a bit that he did. I saw him in Philly last time I was here, and he did a bit. He's like, oh, people like to ask me what it's like to have your special on Comedy Central. And he's like, I'll say this. How do you think it feels to work really, really hard to get maybe 8 followers on Twitter for it? He's like, that's how it feels. It's like you working really hard, digging a really big hole. Well, he didn't say this part, but this is what I'm saying. Digging a really big hole, breaking your back to do it. Yeah. And you didn't put anything in that hole. Yeah. You're not filling that hole back up. You just worked really hard and dug a really big hole.
That's why you got to do shit for yourself or other people. Like, I do stuff for myself. I do stuff for my wife. I do stuff for my future kids. I do shit. I have so many other reasons why I do things instead of for fame, because chasing that fucking fame is just going to make you go crazy. But if I go, man, I would really like my wife to have this experience, or I would really like to have my kids to have this experience, or my family to have this experience, success is different now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I have my favorite aunt. Yeah. My favorite aunt. One of my favorite people in the world. Her name is, well, I call her Aunt Tugger. And I go, I can't wait to make Aunt Tugger proud of me. Yeah. And the person who I said that to was like, what are you talking about? She's already proud of you. Look at the person you are. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't have the zoom myself out of myself enough to go, okay, well, yeah, she's proud of who I am, not what I've got or what I've done. Yeah. That's super important.
You're self-made. The hardest thing, that's why I asked you about, like, when I seen you drinking that water, and I was like, oh shit, do you have like control of that? Because that's like probably the most, that's probably like the best thing you could do in life is have control over yourself and have control over your body and all that. You can't control a lot of things, but you can control yourself. That's why I was impressed. When I was, you drinking a gallon of water? How many times do you drink that? Like, because a lot of people can't do that shit. Like there was like one point in my life where I was really, really trying to get in shape, and I would listen to C.T. Fletcher. I would listen to, you know him? You know C.T. Fletcher? Yeah. I listened to C.T. Fletcher, and I would like listen to a lot of the things he was on, and I would watch bodybuilding things, and these bodybuilders made points. They were like, a lot of people in this world can't control their lives, so they take it out and try to control other people. And bodybuilding is like one of the is like a tangible thing. It's like it's proof that you can control yourself because you can keep reinventing yourself at will. You know what I mean? If you can go, man, I want muscles right here, you can figure out a way to do that shit. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't know how to take 18% body fat and get that shit down to 2. You know what I mean? People can't because they're prisoners to other outside shit.
We're in such an age of technology, the age of information, that it's not like that information's not out there now, that people just don't do it, you know?
Yeah, willful ignorance. I'm that way too sometimes.
Yeah,
Where's your
I'm saying
yeah.
I'm not preaching from a hill.
Yeah.
I'm saying like that information is out there if I want it. And sometimes I get the information that helps me get by, of course, when it comes to bodybuilding and making my body look the way it does.
Yeah.
But I I don't I'm also, I mean, you might also have this where you're tough at accepting compliments.
Yeah.
It's like I'll work my ass off on this body, but if somebody compliments it, I'm like, come on, stop. Like
Yeah.
it's
That's just
it's
fake. That's fake modesty though. Like when you're like fake modest, because like I don't know. I do that now. I'm learning just to accept a compliment sometimes, but before I was just like, oh no. And my boy Jared yelled at me one time because somebody gave me a I did a show somewhere, and we were leaving the show, and as we was leaving the show, somebody was like, "Yo, man, you were really funny." This and that. And I was like, "Ah, man, you don't know what you're talking about." Blah blah blah. And like the person was kind of like, "Dang," he's like, "Oh no." And then it kind of made it weird. And as I was leaving, Jared was like, "Why the fuck did you do that?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, just because it's weird." He was like, "It just comes off fake," and he was like, "That person went out of their way to give you a compliment. Like you don't know." What they had to, you don't know what they had to overcome in their own brain to be like, yo, I just want to tell this person that I respect what they do and they're awesome. He was like, that's hard sometimes to fucking step outside of yourself and tell somebody that they're great. He was like, stop doing that shit. And I was like, okay, all right.
There's this funny ass dude who he was touring with Brendan Schaub. It was like Brendan Schaub and some like Middle Eastern kid and some black kid.
Yeah.
The black kid, he was so funny. He was like he had Chappelle's cadence.
Yeah.
He was really funny. And I was with my former tag team partner, and we went and saw them. And they were like giving out stickers for their podcast after the show was over. And my tag partner was like, "Yo, dude, you're funny. You're real funny." And the kid went, "I know." like, of course he knows. Of course he knows he's funny. But
that's funny. That's dope. Like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's why I'm here doing this. Like,
yeah, that's dope. I like that. He's like, I know. Fuck it.
I wanted to just one or two more things, and then we'll take it home.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I've said it a couple times on here about how important saying things on the record is. The point of that is I wanted to tell you that you constantly inspire me, and I appreciate having known you. I appreciate still knowing you.
I'm like, know me? What the fuck? I'm about to die? The hell? Like,
no.
What type of dream did you have? I was like, I thought you said I made it to SNL.
Heaven SNL.
Yeah, like, goddamn.
No, but I'm saying, like, I think you're on the come up for sure. And I mean, a lot of people, like, we talked a lot about fame here for a minute, and I think a lot of people have really like only stories about their, like, people they know peripherally, third source, second source, stuff like that, and who goes, oh well, he did this and he did that. Oh, this person who was on this and was on that. Yeah, my friend is friends with him. Yeah. I don't think that any of TV shows, movies, anything either one of us do will ever change the fact that we're friends. Yeah. And I appreciate that. Yeah, the thing that I was also saying about on the record stuff was I wanted to say, like, I want you to think about this on the record, this audio file that we are creating at the moment. Okay. Let's say 30 years from now, this is for sure. This stuff is totally for sure outliving us. Yeah. So you're talking about your future kids. Yes. You're talking about your future kids right now. So Monroe in the 2020 quarantine. Yeah. In the 2020 quarantine is delivering a message 30 years from now to his children. And they discover this audio when they want to find out what that was like during the 2020 quarantine. Yeah. What is the message directly to them? Audio time travel. This
I would
message
just
that
tell
you're
my kid, because I think about that all the time. Me and my wife talk about how we've been, since the quarantine, we've just been talking about what we want our kid to be like and stuff like that. And the main thing we keep bringing up is like, I want my kid to not look at failure as not failure, but failure is when you quit, but not looking at failure when something goes bad as the end all be all, and look at it as a thing that you can keep growing from, and just to keep trying shit and just to keep pushing and and don't be afraid to express themselves regardless on whatever they choose to do in life, and just it's and realize that everything is temporary. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what like because that's what I have to keep reminding myself. It's just that whenever things are bad, they're not bad for a long time because they become memories. Like I had a bad childhood, but now I look at my childhood and I'm like, I can laugh at shit because I'm past it. I figured a way out. And I just want my kid to look at that and it's like, keep trying shit. Don't ever be embarrassed, and then be an open person. Be kind. Be friendly. Not friendly. I think friendly and nice are two different things. So
it's compassion.
yeah, be compassionate. Have
Yeah.
compassion. Don't ever lose compassion because my kid will be a rich kid. They'll definitely be a rich kid. And I'm like, oh look, don't ever lose that compassion. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Just like you can do whatever you can do whatever. You can do whatever you want and you're not stuck. You're never stuck. Yeah.
Well, you said the point about like you found out whatever all this was, and you were like, "Oh, it's your fault that I'm this way," right? You can say that about your grandma, but
Yeah.
then you still love
I
her.
was Yeah,
Just-
no, I
right.
was joking. Like
No, I know
nothing
you're joking.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, well, like I also didn't have a good relationship with my dad growing up. I didn't know him.
Yeah.
And then when he came around, he was abusive and shitty.
Yeah.
But like, I still have conversations with him now, and I say, look, man, I needed you to be that way. I needed you to be the father to those kids and not me, because
Yeah.
I love who I am now.
Mhm.
I'm grateful for you not being around. I
Yeah.
forgive you without you ever saying sorry, because I don't need to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, I needed you to be that way. So when you did say the thing about everything happens for a reason, I think everything that has happened was teachable.
Yeah.
Everything that has happened has been of value in the lessons that we learn from it and how we
Absolutely.
move forward. So like when you said the thing about your failures aren't failure. That's you don't quit because of failure. You proceed
Yeah.
after failure because those little failures are success practice.
Yeah.
Like how are you going to handle a little bit of failure when the stakes are higher
Yeah.
than now when they're low?
Yep. Absolutely. And nobody I can't yeah, I'm gonna say it. Nobody I would not do shit sometimes just because I'm like, I don't want to fail and then people looking at me. Nobody remembers when shit is bad.
Right.
Nobody, like, especially in this business, when you're making bad stuff, all it takes is one good thing, and then all that shit is forgotten. And even the people who do choose to remember, that's just because that's the time they're stuck in. Like Derek always reminds me of this time when kind of like we was outside of the stand, and a comic came up to me and Derek that we knew from Philly, and I guess they didn't really have anything to talk about. And they were like, yo, man, Monroe, I remember when you used to bomb. And I was like, yeah, that was like 8 years ago. But that's fine. I'm like, I'm still bombed now, but I don't care. But and Derek was laughing because Derek was like, the fact that you remember that shows me where you are in life. That the fact that you can always remember somebody at their worst shows me that you're still there. And I was like, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. You need a new hobby, sir.
Yeah, I'm like, you need something. If you remembering shit from 8 years ago.
So the way I wrap it up every time is that normally I'll say hypothetically, I've gifted you this podcast hypothetically. So from now on, it's evolving with Monroe Martin III.
Thank you.
All right, and in a very Jerry Springer's final thought sort of way.
Yeah.
How do you put a pretty bow on it and help us all evolve.
How do you evolve? I think you evolve just by being a product of your situation and not a victim of it. You know what I mean? Like when you learn how to do that, when you learn how to look at the like things that you've been through, mistakes you've made, mistakes that have been made on you, like the shit that people have done to you. When you learn how to not really become bitter off of that and become vengeful and just become a product off of that shit, that's how you evolve. You know, when you learn how to be like, no one's to blame for anything except me, because it's about your reaction. Right? That's the most thing. So yeah, it's about the way you react to shit. And we still practice that. I still practice that. I still get into arguments with people, but from them arguments, I learn, man, I can't keep acting like that. Or I apologize faster. You know, I'm like, oh shit, I fucked up. I know I was wrong. But yeah, you evolve by just being a product and not a victim.
I wanna thank you, man. I wanna say like how much I appreciate your time and your effort. The currency of your intention, the currency of your attention.
Thank you.
That's why it's called paying attention, because your attention is such currency. Yeah. The effort that you've made to have this conversation with me and hang with me, I appreciate that very much. And anybody listening, I totally appreciate the currency of your intention and your effort. And dude, I mean, we've known each other for like 12 years at this point. I still think this is just the beginning. I still think this is just the beginning, and I'm hopeful and I'm happy and I'm looking forward to whatever we accomplish together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
me too.
You know, if you ever
learned your name was Cornelius. That's hilarious to me. I'm like, White Cornelius.
my real name. I'm gonna say it to you in the wrap up right now. My real name is actually James.
What?
My real name is James.
Okay.
So my real name, James Goins, not Corey Castle. Corey Castle is a stage name. Cornelius Castle is a stage name. Made it up for money purposes.
God damn, that's a cool last name. What made you come up with KC?
CK.
Yeah.
It was when I first started wrestling. This is funny because we've already done the wrap up, but I'm now getting into the origin stories of Corey Castle. When I first started wrestling, it was around the time the movie Zoolander came out. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where like Ben Stiller was this stupid model.
Yeah.
I wanted that to be my gimmick, that I was a stupid model, like a stupid male model. And I was young, but I wanted my initials to be CK, like Calvin Klein, and have that be on the side of my gear.
Okay.
So I already came up with using Castle. I wanted to use Castle because of the Punisher. My friend Scott gave me the idea because of the Punisher.
Yeah.
I wanted to use it, so I just switched the first name. I just was like going over what C names there were, and Corey sounded the best. And that's
Corey
how
Castle is such a cool name. Now I know you as James. Like I can't call you James no more though. I still have to call you Corey. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always
James what again?
Goins.
James Goins. Nah, you're Corey Castle to me. James Goins. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think I might have started saying this, but I just want to make sure you hear it. Let me be a resource to you in any way I possibly can. If you need anything ever, don't hesitate to ask me. You know, if you're coming back through this area, I got some comfy couches here. You want to crash? That's totally cool. You need judgment-free conversation or just a good friend, a listening ear. I'm here for you, man. And I'm welcoming you. And that goes for anybody listening too. I'm not hard to get a hold of. Don't ever think that there's no resort like that you can't come to. You can always find me. It's not that hard.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Well, appreciate your time, man. I hope you stay safe during the quarantine. And
I will. I'm about to go to the supermarket real quick. I can hear my wife in the kitchen. I think she's in the kitchen.
Yeah, well, tell her I said hi, and maybe she'll
get. I'll be like, James Goins said hi. She was like, yeah, I forgot you. No, we definitely want to come back to another wrestling match. I know that you said that you're not as passionate about it, but we had fun. We went to the Capitol Wrestling thing, and we had a really, really good time. And we brought our godson, and we enjoyed that shit. And she keeps asking when we go back. I'm like, yeah.
Well, I left Capitol Wrestling. I left Capitol Wrestling. So as far as like the I think that they just rebranded. They're not Capitol anymore. They're called Catalyst now.
Okay.
But I left in December. So I don't see going back, but I still am friends with a lot of people there. So you can go back.
Do matches? Are you with another promotion? Do you do matches like in Jersey? Like
barely,
North
dude.
Jersey?
I only had one date on the calendar before this whole thing went down. And I was like, okay, well, the calendar fills up, then I'll take it. But the calendar wasn't filling up.
Yeah.
So I was just about to take a little break, and here you go, another little break.
Yeah.
It's if I go back to that company, which I'm doubtful at this point, but we'll see.
Okay.
But I can for sure put you in contact with people. So you and your wife can go back and bring your godson if that's what you'd like to do.
Okay, that'd be dope. But I see that when we finally open up and all that shit, because when the wrestling starts to come back, I definitely will hit you up. Or yeah.
I mean,
because we're going to be in this business till July, just so you know.
What's that?
I said we're going to be here till July, just so you know. Yeah.
Shit.
So.
All right, brother. Appreciate your time. Appreciate all your love. And I'll catch you soon.
All right. Catch you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Keep evolving.
You too.
Bye.